There are days when the world seems to dim, when what once felt solid beneath your feet suddenly slips into uncertainty. Days when a single phone call, a missed opportunity, or a harsh word turns your reality upside down. These are not rare moments, they are the hidden rhythms of life. And yet, we live as though surprise were a betrayal, as if life breaking from our plans were some kind of personal offense. But what if these very disruptions are not setbacks, but signals? What if they are calls not to resist, but to respond? The Stoics believed that life's unpredictability was not a curse, but a canvas. Because the question is never whether things will go wrong, but what you will become when they do. You were never promised a life of ease. No philosopher, no God, no book of wisdom ever guaranteed you safety from chaos. What you were given, however, is something far greater, the capacity to meet chaos with composure, to transmute pain into power and failure into fuel. The Stoics didn't pray for smooth seas, they trained to sail through storms. Epictetus, born a slave and crippled in youth, found freedom in one idea. Some things are up to us, some are not. When your job disappears, your relationships unravel, or your health falters, do you waste energy cursing fate? Or do you focus fiercely and quietly on what remains within your grasp, your attitude, your choices, your integrity? That is where adaptation begins. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and Stoic, governed an empire crumbling under plagues, betrayals, and endless war. Yet he wrote calmly in his meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When life blocks your path, the weak wait for it to reopen. But the wise shift, pivot, adjust. They stop demanding fairness and start demanding discipline. You can mourn what was lost, but only if you then get up and shape what comes next. Because reality does not care about your expectations, it only responds to your actions. When you let go of how it should have been, you unlock the clarity to see how it can be. Adaptation is not passive surrender, it is active transformation. It is asking yourself not, "Why me?" but "What now?" and then answering with motion, however imperfect. When the external world becomes uncertain, the Stoic turns inward and fortifies the only fortress that cannot be shaken, the mind. This is where the art is practiced. Not in grand declarations, but in quiet pivots. Not in public triumphs, but in private resilience. You rehearse setbacks before they arrive, not to live in fear, but to meet them as old friends. You journal your failures not to wallow, but to witness how far you've come. You strip your expectations down to the bone so that when life takes what it wants, it finds nothing in you left unprepared, because you've already let go, mentally, of everything not yours to control. That's the power. And from that power comes peace, not the peace of a life untouched by trouble, but the peace of knowing no trouble can touch who you are. Imagine living like this. Your plans collapse, and instead of panic, you respond with poise. You lose something precious, and instead of despair, you lean into presence. You fail, and instead of shame, you extract the lesson like gold from fire. That's Stoicism in motion. That's what it means to adapt, not to survive, but to alchemize. To turn what tries to break you into what makes you. Even in your lowest moment, you can say, "Good. A new challenge. A new chance to sharpen my soul." Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." So the next time the world says no, say yes, not to the pain, but to the process, not to the loss, but to the learning. Because nothing is ever fully lost if it teaches you how to stand taller, feel deeper, live clearer. When things go wrong, do not beg for mercy, prepare for mastery. The life that resists what is crumbles. But the life that adapts to what is becomes unbreakable. So rise, not because it's easy, but because it's time. The Stoic doesn't fear misfortune. The Stoic welcomes it as the crucible where clarity is born. The world will keep changing. It will surprise you, disappoint you, overwhelm you. But your response? That is yours. That is the art. That is the arena. And in that arena, when everything goes wrong, you still get to choose what kind of human you will be.